Is to bring my ideas to life.
To Chicago, Illinois.
So what should we do?
Why?
This is
On the ground!
Natalie, close the helmet!
The story shows Riri Williams, a young and brilliant college student, lost in thought as she remembers the past with her best friend. In her memories, they appear happy and close to each other. However, her best friend is now gone, leaving sadness in Riri's life. Riri's current life revolves around MIT, a prestigious university in the United States. Despite her young age, she has already completed her basic and secondary education very quickly. Now she has a big dream, to create advanced armor like Tony Stark's. However, Riri believes that she doesn't have the same resources as Stark. Riri thinks that Tony Stark's wealth is the key to all the amazing technology he created. Because of this, she starts earning money by doing assignments for her classmates. The money she earns is used to develop her Iron Man project. She believes this is the only way to make her dream come true.
Oh, vibranium mountain. To be great, I need cash.
However, the idea that only rich people can create great technology isn't entirely accurate. Riri doesn't yet know that Tony Stark built his first armor under dangerous conditions with limited tools. He worked inside a cave using makeshift equipment and still managed to escape safely. This proves that intelligence and determination can overcome any limitation. Tony Stark wasn't just a billionaire, he was also a genius who never gave up. He could build advanced technology in unfavorable situations and even freed himself from enemies using his inventions. This demonstrates that true ability isn't determined by wealth. Although Riri is far from reaching that level, her potential cannot be ignored. Problems arise when the university discovers that Riri accepts payment for completing other students' assignments. As a result, the school calls Riri in and gives her a severe punishment. She is expelled from MIT and asked to leave the dorm immediately. All her belongings are packed, and she is forced to leave campus. Riri worries that if she leaves, her Iron Man project might be confiscated or destroyed. She decides to sneak back and retrieve all the essential components of her project. Without wasting time, she puts on the armor she designed and activates it. In an instant, she flies away from campus, powered by her own creation.
I did that, right?
The armor Riri wears is equipped with an AI she named Trevor. Trevor can handle small tasks to assist her in various situations. Though not as advanced as Stark's technology, this marks a significant first step. It becomes clear that Riri has incredible skills in creating her own tech. Riri's AI, Trevor, doesn't work as well as she hoped. When instructed to take her home, the system freezes and stops responding. As a result, Riri falls from a height, and her armor breaks into pieces. This incident forces her to face reality without technological assistance.
Trevor, where you?
At the same time, a criminal group led by Parker Robbins, known as the Hood, is planning a major operation in the city. They successfully break into a house's security and complete their secret mission quickly. Afterward, their leader praises the team's effort and instructs everyone to rest. Meanwhile, Riri returns home after her accident with the armor. At home, she meets her mother, who is with a male friend. The boy turns out to be someone Riri knows well and has been close to for a long time. From there, the background of Riri's family begins to unfold further. Riri's father passed away some time ago due to a shooting incident. Her female best friend, whom she often remembers, also died in the same tragic event. It is revealed that Riri's father was a huge fan of Tony Stark, just like his daughter. They used to spend time together in the garage fixing cars. Her father's garage became the first place where Riri learned about tools and machines. Together with her best friend, they often helped her father repair vehicles. However, during the shooting, both her father and best friend lost their lives. Since then, Riri has carried painful memories that are hard to forget. The next day, Riri visits a nearby thrift store to gather supplies for her project. She frequents this place because the items are affordable and sometimes useful objects can be found. Unfortunately, This time she doesn't have any money and feels unsure what to do. As she considers talking to the shop owner, someone steps in and pays for all her purchases. The person is John, a member of the Hoods team introduced earlier. He pays for everything Riri needs without saying much. Confused, Riri approaches him and asks why he did it. John admits he is a fan of Riri's work and has been following her progress for a while. John then informs her that he works for someone and offers Riri the chance to meet this person. If she agrees, she can join the project and receive a large payment as a reward. The offer sounds convincing and promises a bright future.
So I work for someone. Meet him. Pleasure to meet you, Miss Williams.
The following day, Riri arrives at the given address and enters a tall building in the city. She takes the elevator to the upper floors, as instructed on the card she received. Midway through the ride, the elevator suddenly stops moving. It turns out, this is part of a test designed by the Hood and his team to observe Riri more closely. The team activates a 3-minute timer inside the elevator and begins filling the room with carbon dioxide. Through the speakers, they inform Riri that this is a test, and if she can't escape within the time limit, her life will be at risk. Initially confused by this extreme action, Riri quickly thinks and manages to open the elevator door to escape. Once outside, Riri is greeted by the Hood and the entire team waiting for her. They praise her intelligence for passing the specially designed trap. The Hood then calls Riri aside for a serious conversation. He tells her that she is very smart and wants her to work for his team in exchange for a large payment. Riri knows the tasks offered are illegal and against the law. However, desperate for money, she reluctantly accepts the offer. The Hood explains that the next day, they will carry out a major mission requiring Riri's involvement. They also ask her to bring her armor for use during the operation. Riri returns home with the money and begins repairing her damaged armor. She also starts developing a new AI system for the armor. While working on it, she unknowingly allows memories of her deceased best friend to shape the system into resembling her. Riri is surprised when she realizes the AI resembles her late friend Natalie. Feeling conflicted, she plans to delete the system, but since there's a mission the next day, she decides to lock the AI in her room and leaves to meet the team for the planned operation. After meeting the team, the Hood introduces Riri to each member individually. First, he introduces Slug, a hacking expert who specializes in breaking into systems. Then, there are Roz and Jerry, siblings skilled in combat. They once fought illegally on the streets, but joined the Hood's team after finding no other place for themselves. Next, there is a team member named Clown, who handles explosives and pyrotechnic effects. Finally, the Hood reintroduces John, the man who first approached Riri. John is the Hood's cousin and excels in using sharp weapons. After introducing all the team members, the Hood explains their plan. Their target is a company called Tunnel, which has secret assets located in underground tunnels.
Into one of Tunnel's mobile access points, allowing me to shut down the system.
Tunnel is constructing an underground expressway that allows cars to travel long distances quickly. However, according to the Hood and his team, the company engages in unethical practices and needs to be stopped. They want the company to accept certain terms as leverage. To execute this plan, Riri must wear her suit and fly to the target location to plant the virus. The problem is that Riri's suit isn't fully ready, as some critical parts are still missing. To complete the missing pieces, Riri searches for a man named Joe, who sells illegal components on the black market. Joe often provides rare items at low prices, though many of them are illegal. Joe initially refuses the request and pretends to have no connection to the black market. However, after Riri threatens to report him to the police, he changes his mind. He agrees to help and asks Riri to follow him. Joe then takes Riri to a secret location, a hidden bunker, where he stores all his black market goods. The bunker is a concealed storage area where Joe keeps everything he acquires from the black market. There, Riri receives all the components needed to finish her suit. After assembling and repairing it, Riri puts on the suit and flies away from the location. She prepares to join the team that night for the mission. Night falls, and the Hood's team moves toward their target location near the tunnel where the new system launch is taking place. Riri receives a flash drive containing the virus and is tasked with planting it directly into the central system. However, as she flies closer to the destination, the AI resembling Natalie suddenly appears before her. The appearance of the AI startles Riri, causing her to lose control and crash into part of the tunnel. As a result, she falls, and the flash drive slips from her hand. In her confusion, Riri begins to think the mission might fail entirely, but Natalie reappears and suggests an alternative approach. Natalie explains that all vehicles using the tunnel are directly connected to the central system. If one vehicle is removed from the track, it will create an opening to access the system. Natalie advises Riri to use that moment to manually insert the virus into the system. Riri quickly revises her plan based on this suggestion. Riri contacts Slug and informs him of the new plan that must be executed quickly. She explains that once a vehicle is moved from the track, Slug must immediately access the system within seconds. They have no time to waste, so everything must be done accurately and without error. After delivering the instructions, Riri moves toward the target vehicle and disconnects the main link from the platform. Once Slug gains access, he shuts down the entire underground system. All vehicles in motion stop automatically.
Oh man, it's just like one week before that ever happened.
What happened to okay, I don't need you backseat driving all day.
One of the cars contains the CEO of Tunnel, who panics as everything halts suddenly. At the same moment, the Hood appears and sits beside him, intensifying the situation. The Hood immediately conveys his intentions to the CEO without hesitation. He explains that the entire system has been disabled by his team and won't restart without his permission. He requests shares in the company as a form of control. Ultimately, the CEO, having no other choice, reluctantly signs the contract presented by the Hood.
Hands up!
Come on, man, there's no need for
Good?
At this moment, Riri begins to question the true power behind the Hood's cloak. She wonders about the real abilities of Parker Robbins, the man behind the mask. After the night's operation, all team members count the money earned from the mission and seem delighted. They laugh and celebrate their success. However, the mood shifts when Clown approaches Parker Robbins' safe. Clown takes the Hood's magical cloak and puts it on, showing it to the entire team. Riri, seeing this, approaches Clown and asks where he got the cloak. Clown explains that he knew Parker kept it in the safe and managed to open it that day. Not long after, John appears and attacks Clown to reclaim the cloak. Witnessing this, Riri protests against John's actions, leading to an argument between them. Shortly after, Parker arrives and calms everyone down. He then instructs Slug to explain the next plan to the entire team. Slug begins explaining that their next target is another large company called Heirloom. This company operates in organic farming. According to the team, Heirloom harms many local small farmers. Therefore, they aim to halt the company's operations or force its CEO to meet their demands.
Do not touch the damn hood!
Riri returns home and meets her mother. Soon after, Joe, also known as Ezekiel Stain, arrives at Riri's house and says he needs her help with something. Initially, Riri refuses to assist, but when Joe threatens to tell her mother about Riri's secret activities, she reluctantly changes her mind. Riri begins to feel uneasy, but understands the seriousness of the situation. She prepares to listen to Joe's request more intently. However, Riri insists she will only help the next day and will visit Joe's house directly. Shortly after, when Riri enters her room, she is startled by Natalie, who is controlling her armor. Riri immediately asks her to stop, but from this incident, she realizes that Natalie has developed rapidly and become highly advanced, capable of controlling the armor without commands.
6. Boom! Armor.
Best friend.
Over the next few days, Riri spends more time with Natalie. They engage in long conversations and build closeness, as if Natalie truly exists like her late best friend. However, amidst their bond, two police officers arrive at Riri's house and inquire about someone who was previously a member of the Hood's team. The police explain that the person has been found dead. They suspect Riri because she contacted that person via phone a few days earlier, although only once. Riri explains that she only knew him through a project, and their call never happened because the person didn't answer. Afterward, the police leave. This incident makes Riri realize. She concludes that the person was likely killed by Parker Robbins and John because they had expelled him from the team and feared he would leak their secrets. If true, Riri might face the same fate if she decides to leave the team. This awareness makes her increasingly cautious.
Ms. Williams, in relationship to Stuart Clark, expert computer tech.
She then decides to meet Joe and, as promised, to assist him. However, upon arriving at Joe's house, she is shocked to see that Joe has injured one of his hands. It turns out Joe was trying to install a prosthetic device himself but failed. Riri helps treat his wound. Joe reveals that he is actually Ezekiel Stane, the son of Obadiah Stane, the man who once tried to kill Tony Stark. Joe admits he doesn't want to be like his father, which is why he hides his identity and lives away from public attention. He feels responsible for not repeating the mistakes made by his family. After helping Joe,
We could upgrade it. 'Cause I could.
You said that before.
Riri rejoins her team and prepares for the next mission. The team heads to Heirloom, a large greenhouse owned by their target company. Some members quickly neutralize the guards and enter the area. Slug disables all cameras and security systems so they can move freely. Riri stays inside her armor, ready for any sudden danger. However, Riri's real goal is to take a small piece of the Hood's cloak. She wants to study its power more deeply with Natalie's help. After handing over armor control to Natalie, she exits and enters the greenhouse through an underground water channel. Meanwhile, Parker confronts the company's CEO and presents his demands. Parker threatens to destroy the greenhouse if his demands aren't met. At that moment, Riri sneaks up from behind and begins cutting a small piece of Parker's cloak using a tiny laser tool. Unbeknownst to her, the building has sensors highly sensitive to weapons and dangerous devices. When her tool is detected, the security system activates, locking all exits. All doors are sealed, trapping the team members inside the greenhouse.
You don't want to set off any alarms.
I'm almost there.
However, the CEO refuses to accept Parker's terms. In response, Parker kills the CEO and is immediately attacked by many guards. One by one, Parker defeats the guards effortlessly. Meanwhile, Riri exits through a tunnel and enters another room. She orders Natalie to assist the other trapped team members. Wearing Riri's armor, Natalie begins rescuing the team members one by one. At the same time, John appears and notices a piece of Parker's cloak in Riri's hand. Unable to contact Parker through communication devices, John grows suspicious that Riri has done something to him. John immediately attacks Riri, and they begin to fight. During the fight, Natalie arrives and protects Riri. Natalie takes Riri out of the room and locks the door, trapping John inside.
Door sealed.
John eventually dies from lack of oxygen. All team members manage to escape the building except John, who is left behind. Parker realizes John hasn't exited and asks Riri to scan the entire building. Pretending to obey, Riri informs Parker that John is in one of the rooms and is no longer breathing. Upon hearing this, Parker looks deeply affected and says nothing. Afterward, the entire team decides to leave the location. Riri returns home feeling guilty, believing she caused someone's death. She sits silently, reflecting on everything inside her house. On the other side, Parker, back at his base, appears angry and disappointed. Not long after, Parker sees a vision of John's death before him. He witnesses firsthand how John died from oxygen deprivation. Afterward, the image of Riri wearing her armor appears, and Parker realizes that the person who killed John is Riri Williams. The figure revealing all this to Parker remains unclear. The film ends here, leaving a lingering sense of curiosity.